Yes, people, what is going on? Welcome back to Above the Knee podcast. We've been busy recently. We have been busy, but we have got, as always, my man Jay. Jay, how are you, bro?
Looking forward to this. I'm good.
He's buzzing for this one. He's more excited than he sounds, I'm telling you. And we welcome
More than you
Ajani.
believe.
How are you, bro?
More than you believe.
Pep Guardiola, what do you believe? Yeah, man, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me, guys. Me and James have been talking about this for a while, so I'm excited to be here, man. Thank you for having me.
Buzzing, man. So what you been up to, bro? What have you been up to?
Bit of this, bit of that, as always. I'm always floating around doing different things. Bit of editing here. Just dropped a video for the African Cup of Nations, just a roundup of the stories, the different teams, the different elements of what that tournament brings to football and sport. And then behind the scenes, been doing a lot of work with my business partner, Drew Diamond, with Sterling Talent Management. We've just recently announced 2 new clients, Erica Cunningham at Blackburn and Lauren Briggs at Durham. So yeah, it's been a busy time for us, as well as me personally as well. So, just trying to get my foot in the door, keep progressing, keep learning. So yeah, that's me.
I think we'll break the conversation up into 2 parts. We'll do like you as a creative, and then like the management side of things. Because I got questions, bro. I got questions. They're not bad questions. I'm
on a hot seat
interested
today.
You know what I mean? But I just want to say, first of all, you just obviously mentioned your edit there. I love that edit. It's really good to see good to see like someone producing stuff about the AFCON that isn't punching jokes at it. Because that's what I felt like at the beginning. Yeah, people were sort of just taking a mick, which was annoying, and it ended up, I feel like it won people over massively, and I feel like the piece you guys put out, was really powerful and summarized it really nicely. So props on that.
Thank you.
Your editing. What's your editing process like? I'm always like
my process.
Like I watched the one you did for your for BComs, and how do you sit down in front of an edit with all these clips and go, this is the vision?
Funny enough, if you saw my timelines, it's the messiest thing ever. Like, it's all over the place. And when I first started editing, I intentionally had all my clips in different roles and stuff because I felt like it looked like I was doing more. But now it's more streamlined and stuff. But my editing process, it changes. So, as both of you will be aware, you can take inspiration from anything. Different people obviously have different ideas on how to do things. You can draw inspiration from there. So for me personally, it's just looking at what I've seen other people do, or what I've seen on TV, what I've seen on socials, and see what works best for me. Can I do that, or can I put my own spin on it, kind of thing? So with the BComs one, for example, shout out to Miles, who both of you will know already. He's helped me a lot with my vision and stuff like that as well. So like, he will always critique my work, tell me what I can do better, how I can change things, and he will really push me to do the best I can and stuff like that. So it's just I feel like it's a collection of taking inspiration from different things, but having a good base of friends and stuff. Because even the work that you two do, I can draw inspiration from that, and then you two can give me advice and stuff that I'm doing as well. So it's just a collection of those 2 things.
I don't know, this might be a bit of a nerdy question, but I know you two will have it as well. But since you've started editing, like this is for both of you, Jay. So Jay, get involved. Do you, like you were just saying, you watch things and you're inspired? Do you find yourself watching like series and films and other pieces of work like much more critically? And it's gone, for me especially, it's gone from, okay, I watch a program, instead of going, oh, the story's quite good or the acting's good, I'm like, sick edit. I'm like that transition was sick. My girlfriend's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, rewind it. I'm like, look how cool that shot is. And then the edit, like the transition into the next scene, I'm like, that is unreal. And she'd be like, just play the program, you know, like you did. And it's just like, it's like a new, I don't know if it's because having like been self-taught, I realize how difficult things are. And I have something in my head. I'm like, oh yeah, love this transition. Let me try that. Or I love this sort of overlay, let me try that, and I can't do it. Scroll for YouTube, still can't do it, and I'm like, bro, these people are like crazy talented. And from like not lying, but like saying in interviews, "Oh yeah, I can edit," and it's like, okay. More times, all I'm doing is split that clip. Yeah, drag this one. Yeah, that looks all right. And then from doing that, like, you want to get confidence in that going forward. Like, I feel like I see everything, like, from consuming content, like the whole creative process. Now I'm so critical, and I'm just so, I take everything in.
Jay, do you want to go first?
No, okay, I'll go. I don't know. I think especially being a creative, sometimes you'll see something and you'll say, "Have they copied me?" Just because you think your brain's done that, but
Bro,
like
I do that all the time.
that is creativity. Like everyone else could have the exact same thought, but it's just everyone's doing it in different kind of ways. So I think that's the thing. Sometimes you're like invested in something when you're like, that looks like something I'd do. It's not what you've done, but it kind of gets your mind going, and then you watch things and you just think, how can I do that? I think that's why inspiration is so important. It's like you are seeing it from somewhere, but like you're then thinking, how am I going to do it? And I think just like certain like TV shows like BBC Three, what's it called? Young Philly did Hot Property. I think the best part of that show was the editing. Like they always had like they were in After Effects going ham, like just little things where they'll like do like a like electric sign, or how they would like group up the houses and stuff like that. And it's like tiny edits like that make it so much more than what it is. So I think it's always great to get inspiration from different things.
I agree with both of you, Liam. It's funny that you mentioned like watching films and stuff, because I remember just out of the first lockdown, I went to go watch Tenet in cinema. And when I say my mind was blown, not because of like the film, so to speak, just the editing process. I'm like, how are you filming a film and you have things going in reverse and normal time at the same time? And when I was trying to understand that whole process, I was like, yeah, that is crazy to think about. Like, how are people at that level? So when you look at stuff now, as you touched on, like, you try to not only draft different inspiration from them, but then you appreciate the whole concept even more. Because if you ask me what my favorite film was 10 years ago, obviously I know loads of films have come out since then, I would have told you a certain film, but it would be for a different reason as opposed to what my favorite film is now, because I'm looking at everything completely differently.
Do you reckon you can like like, could you group your inspirations? Like in my head, like I know two like major things that I try and inspire my style around, and I'm 100% not there, but like I'm making steps to get towards that. And it'll be when I've got this perfect blend of being able to do them, I'll be like, yeah, like this is going to be like my trademark. And like I'm still on the journey to get there, of course, but could you say like I like this director or I like this style, and be like, yeah, this is the style I'm trying to emulate and put my stamp on?
Yeah, 100%. Do you want me to say names? Do you want me to?
Yeah, let's go names. Let's go names. We can go.
Okay, so in terms of like with the sports stuff I do in particular, having it, what I try to do is keep it content based, but have some sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Some sort of visual that's minimalist, because I'm a very minimalist person, but it does look good at the same time. So, for example, the Players Tribune, their pieces that they put out, their video pieces, it's straight to the point. It's not really gimmicky, but it's still produced at the best possible quality it can be. You know what I mean? So, I definitely draw inspiration from them. But then to narrow it down to another person, I don't know. There's loads of people that I take inspiration from. It's weird. So I'll always take little pieces from other people. It's crazy.
Jay, what about you?
What's it called? There's two guys on YouTube. There's a guy called Jimmy High Roller, and he does kind of like really in-depth kind of basketball videos. So he'll be like, why Steph Curry's not shooting right? And he'll go through like the last 20 games on a Thursday that he played bad and link it together. And it's just that kind of, you're just gripped, but he doesn't show his face. Like, it's just how he kind of moves from image to image, uses stills and stuff like that. I really like that. And Official FNG on YouTube, and he does the football this week. I took a lot of inspiration from that. Like when I used to do like YouTube videos, it was just, this is what's happened this week. And he's playing FIFA at the same time, but he's getting lots of memes and he's getting lots of football images. And I think that is some of the greatest content I've seen on YouTube. Just the way how he's able to give so many. He uses a lot of images, but he doesn't make it boring. So those are the main two that I get my inspirations from.
So you know what? This is going to sound like a bit mad, but especially when it's like when I used to try to do like football edits. So when I was at City, and I like try package goals together in non-highlights. Do you remember like old school Call of Duty edits, like the quick scope, no scope sort of edits?
Yeah.
Like I used to think like, because you could get 100, I could watch 100 shots in honestly like 30 seconds. And I was like, boom, like I've got loads of stuff there. Like now I'm inspired to go play. Never could. I was a trash player, I'm not gonna lie. So bad. Like I came to Call of Duty late. I wasn't like a shooting game. So yeah, I'm trash. But I still used to watch it. So I was always like, oh, how can I fit that into like put sports into that sort of thing? And it was really like, it was hard. And like, I still can't really do it now. But that, like, I love like anime and like the over edited almost like sound effects, like, and it probably seems ridiculous. And then like going from that to like the Tarantino, because he's sort of gone from anime, Western, like the old kung fu sort of films, and he's put it into like real people. And I was like, if I can get like between the trifecta of them three styles, I was like, bro, like I'll be so happy with my work to be able to bash out like an edit of Sterling's goals looking like that, and I'll be like, yeah, this is the one.
Well, yeah, that's the thing though. Like, take the three of us. We're all working within similar fields, all have similar interests, but our vision and our interpretation of what we think looks best, but our editing style is all different. So like, I can draw from what you two are doing, and you can draw from what I'm doing and stuff. But then we all have our own vision. So it's really good to see that like there's a bigger audience of creatives putting out their own content rather than having to push through a certain platform and then it's molded by that platform, but they've just done it kind of thing. So there's a lot more freedom with creatives now, especially Black creatives, which I like to see.
I think that's like you said, all of us have just said, we're all, like you said, we're in the same sort of field. Everyone's doing a different thing. This is why my main thing is like, we're not vying for the same places. Like it used to be, especially like when you're younger and you see it and it's like, okay, there's big names and you should be competing against these people. And it's like, I don't feel like now, especially, I don't need to be competing with anyone. Like we can be collaborative and everyone can get where they want to be. And it's like, I think it's more so how like our parents, especially, it was a job. So everyone was trying to get the same job. But now with so many people, creators freelancing or just doing things where they like it, like we're not all vying for the same job now. So everyone can succeed. Like, and I think that's making content so much better. Like I feel like in the last probably 2 years, I've connected with so many people like yourselves. And like it's so much more like inspiring to see and inspiration for your own work. Like I've only got better from connecting with people. It's instead of being like, oh no, you can't use, I don't want you to see my stuff, or I don't want you to do this. Like, and it's such like a strange mindset, especially like talking to friends who aren't in the creative industry or aren't creatives. And it's like, okay, their job is I've got to get the promotion, but Stephen, who sits next to me, he also wants this promotion. So now we're both against each other. And like the collaboration, I think, especially, I don't know how you found it over the past 2 years, I think it's been sensational. Like massively, massively good for me personally.
As bad as COVID has been, like for obvious reasons, like a small advantage is that people have been able to find people that might not have interacted with had we had not been in that situation. I mean, when me and James done our documentary, for example, that was created in a space where I had time to think about what I wanted to do during lockdown. So if it wasn't in lockdown, would we have made it then? Probably not, because obviously we had our own lives between what everyone was doing and stuff. So there is a lot of small advantages you can take out of something like that, where we've all created and all collaborated with each other. Like our Twitter family's grown exponentially, as you said. Like it's crazy to think about that kind of aspect of your life has come from something that you would never have tied to together.
You mentioned documentaries there. Let's talk documentaries. That's something like I'm crazy interested in, but I just have no. I feel like I wouldn't even know where to start. How did you guys find like creating a documentary from like inception all the way through?
I think I just text James on a whim. Like, I have this idea. What do you think about it? And it just went from there. But we didn't have any idea on like how to start or anything. Like I just said it. I say loads of things in terms of creative stuff, like, oh, let's do this, let's do that. But in terms of the documentary, I think it was just both of us at the same time had the same thought that like we enjoyed women's football, we like women's football. We have a so James obviously tied to Arsenal women and stuff. I was looking at it from more of a neutral space, but we both wanted to learn more about it. So it was like, why not mix the two, create something that other people like us who are in a similar position can learn about it, but we can also do something that produces good content as well. So yeah, we just got the ball rolling. I think it was in the summer of 2020. Started reaching out to people, getting advice from different people, then started focusing on who we wanted to interview and how we wanted to do it. But yeah, it was crazy time. It was a crazy time to think we've done it in about 10 months. I was having a conversation with someone the other day. From start to finish, we've done it in about 10 months, which is not that long of a time if you think about it. So yeah, it was weird to think that we just started from me texting James on a whim. What do you think of this idea? And then we just had the ball rolling from there.
What do you reckon, James? Are you the same?
Yeah, I think that's how more people should be in terms of creativity. Sometimes it's just, that's my guy. If he's got this kind of idea, I like it. Let's just do it. Because I think sometimes the idea of a documentary sounds massive and it makes you feel like, oh, this is going to be really expensive, or this is going to be really hard, or we don't have this, we don't have that. But it's like, sometimes you just need to go out there and do something, because it's like, then you have a finished product and then it's something that we can still watch and we can still learn from. And the best thing about the documentary was just how much you would learn from it, and just hearing from people that you wouldn't necessarily hear from. Because I think sometimes women's football can be a bit of, you hear about the biggest and the biggest, and then you don't really hear about the rest of the people. And so many people join up together in a collective effort to make women's football what it is. And I think we spoke to a lot of people that were huge parts of it, but you have to know about women's football to know about them. So I think that was the best part of it.
I've definitely been guilty of having an idea, and then instead of just going for it, like you just create like excuses and boundaries in your own head. Like, oh, I haven't got this, or I won't be able to do this. And it's just like, just do it. And then if it doesn't happen you always have that process. So for the next time you can do X, Y, Z. And I feel like especially with like lockdown, that's happened massively. Like, even like with Photoshop and like stuff that me and you spoke about, Jay, like stuff like that used to like proper scare me. And I was like, because I could just have someone in the office, or I go, oh, can you quickly do this? And they do it in a second, and you think, yeah, whatever, cool. I've never been in a position where I've got to do it myself. But like just being forced to follow something through almost has been a massive benefit. Right, let's go football. Let's go football, because this is a football podcast, you know. I'm not sure when this is going to come out, so it might be a little bit dated. But we've got to talk the Lionesses team, Jay. Like, we've got to talk it. It's dominated Twitter on the day of it came out. What are we thinking? I know you'll be happy to see Jordan Nobbs back.
Yep.
I love
the
it.
only positive he has.
I think I've got my diplomatic hat on, so it's fine. I think it is just a case of, with the Arnold Clark Cup, it is a very new tournament, first time it's ever happened. So with a new tournament, there's no pressure. So I would have just liked to see new faces, because there is no risk. Because I think in the qualifiers this year, we saw the team that is probably going to the Euros. So therefore, this was a free shot. This was a free hit. You have all these games at once that you could just rotate. You could have taken a completely different squad. And if it didn't work out, you had already seen the team that you wanted to see during the qualifiers. So there was no risk. But sadly, it is just very samey, same old. Happy to see Jordan Nobbs back. Happy to see Alessia Russo and stuff like that. Hannah Hampton, sick. But I just think sometimes we don't always need our legacy players. I think we already know Jill Scott, Ellen White, players like that. We know they're going to turn up. We know they're going to the Euros and they're going to represent every single time. So let's just give people that haven't had that chance yet to prove themselves. Because you've got players like Molly Bartrip, Ashley Neville, Myla Tissier that have been doing really well. Hannah Blundell doing really well. It shows where they are in the table. They've been consistent. Like, sometimes you want players, sometimes it would be just great to see an international team based on form. Not on what I know you can do, but I've seen you show this entire season that you've been solid defensively, you've helped your team, you should get rewarded for that. But sadly, that hasn't happened. But I'm not the coach, so it is what it is.
You know what? I said, I tweeted something the other day that contradicts that massively. I said, I was like, I'm sick of football being, what have you done for me lately? And you know what? When it comes to like picking a team and like selection for like either your club and it's your starting 11 or your country's like tournament squad, it does contradict what I say, because it is sort of, what have you done for me lately? You need to pick the most informed players. But going back to my point before, everyone's like, you're an idiot. Like, you can't pick the whole team based on what have you done for me lately, or not on what have you done for me lately. Mine was more about the comparisons, people comparing. But like you said, I feel like the Ellen Whites, obviously Steph's not there, but I do think if she's fit, she will go to the Euros. These are players that I feel like it's a trust thing. You know, you can trust these players. They've been there before. But I don't envy the gaffer at all. Like, I don't. I think it is a very hard job. And with the WSL being as competitive as it's ever been, I'd go as far as saying, like, or since I've watched it, this is the most competitive season we've had. And maybe before Christmas, I wouldn't have said that. I thought it, but then it did look like, okay, Leicester and Birmingham are really struggling here. And then Birmingham beating Arsenal and sort of was like the turning point. And you're like, oh, actually, everyone can beat everyone. And it's the season developed that. And I kind of wish it was a longer season, to be honest with you. But yeah, it's a very tough position to be. And we're going to go now with our Euro squad, essentially, for the Arnold Clark. And it's like, this is like, we've had the qualifiers, everyone would have scouted them teams. Okay, like, we're not bringing any surprises now. And then it's like, okay, we're going to go to this tournament, same sort of team. So all these teams know what we're doing. And it's like, okay, we're going to bring Steph back. Okay, there's years of footage of Steph. Like, that's a scouts field day. Like, and I just don't think that's going to be great for us as a country. Like, I feel like that's what the men's team did quite well a few years ago. Southgate came in and everyone was like, oh, Southgate struggled at Middlesbrough. Like, what's going on here? And he caught a lot of people off guard. So yeah, I feel like regardless of the quality, I feel like from a tactical standpoint and doing the same thing, it could leave us in a bit of a place of vulnerability.
Yeah, absolutely.
Using the same teams.
I feel like I understand James's frustration, because I feel like, especially now, England football, we're in a position where they have a lot of upcoming or informed players, but we're kind of like stunting their growth or limiting their potential because we're not allowing them to play internationally. I feel like even the last qualifiers that England had, you could have chose a few players who haven't had international debuts and stuff like that yet already within that team. So I feel like constantly picking the same players over and over again is almost limiting the potential of the players that are up and coming already. So I can understand the frustration. Like, as Jay said, this is no risk. This tournament, yeah, like, there's barely any risk at all. Like, obviously, if you lose all your games and stuff, people will scrutinize you and stuff like that. But if you have a few new players in there, so like, if we're looking at form wise, Nikita Paris isn't in the best form right now. You're telling me there isn't someone there who could have done the
Jeff
same
Parker.
job, the same job, if not better. Jess Parker is a good example of that. But you're telling me she's not going to be able to do the same output as Nikita Paris based on her form right now? That's not a definite answer. So I feel like we've missed a trick here. Hopefully it doesn't hinder England in the future, but you could easily see how it could.
And the thing is, it's all well and good saying we're bringing up pretty much our Euros team. If England happened to lose every game they played because they're facing the top talents, then what? That mentally, you would go into the Euros thinking, well, in our
we've had our
test,
best and it weren't good.
Yeah. And the thing is, a lot of teams haven't brought their best. At the end of the day, Germany, maybe 8 key players aren't going out of injury or just haven't been brought. Christine Sinclair hasn't gone for Canada, and she's a big part of what Canada do. Spain haven't brought all of their best players, and they've given some young players a chance. You got to think about it like Jewel Brand, 19, Lena Oberdorf, 20, Laia Alexandri, she's 20, Spain. They bring in youth. Like, I think the youngest players that England are bringing is Lauren Hemp, 21, and Hannah Hampton, 21. Sometimes you just got to shake it up, because the last thing you want is to have a really bad loss at the Arnold Clark Cup and then think, what happens next? Because mentally, it will be in your head. It will be in the other team's head. Like, they've brought their Euros team and we've beat them.
Yeah, that's what I think.
You don't want that.
For us to be able to be like I know when I see the team, the announcements thing, and if it's like a follow through or a click through page onto the FA's website, I pretty much know the team, maybe like with 1 or 2 exceptions, and it's like, oh, I didn't know, and it's not that, oh my god, I can't believe this person's included. It's, why is this person not included? And it's like, oh, okay, injury. And I feel like if I can predict that, and I'm just a fan, if it's someone's job, like, they're going to have full dossiers on everything. And but you know what? Thinking about it, if we go to the Arnold Clark and we struggle and it isn't pretty, and we've got teams like really, and we're just not looking cohesive or anything, it's like this team is tired, like we need some sort of influx. Like, maybe it could be super exciting. Maybe it could be a really good thing to not perform very well, and then we're forced to make that decision and go, you know what, I'm going to have to bring the informed players because I've tried this team. And fair enough, the qualifiers were okay, but they're not the best. They're not the best of the best. Whereas now we're playing the top teams and we're not good enough. What can we do? And yeah, I feel like I don't want to say the worst thing can happen, but like, it wouldn't be, I don't think it'd be a great thing for us to go and win it. Like, I really don't. Like you said, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. It's frustrating.
It's very weird because you want to win, but at the same time,
it's the performances that matter more than anything else.
Exactly.
I'm worried. I'm very worried because, yeah, I saw a tweet and it said Man City have brought 9 players, and Man City have like 9 players in the England team. Spain have 9 players from the Barcelona team. Barcelona's the greatest team in the world right now. Running into them, it's not going to be easy. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it is a bit of worrying because you don't know what other teams are going to do. But at the same time, England have still put out a great team. But you just want to surprise teams a bit. And if we don't,
I think having Ellie Roebuck back is massive. Like,
yeah, that was
as a City fan, like, we missed her so bad. Like, and when it got to the point, I'd spoken. And she was like, I don't know when I'm allowed back on grass. And this wasn't too long ago. There was essentially no timeline for when she's going to be back for injury. And I was worried. I was like, I don't trust the other goalkeepers like I trust Ellie, sort of thing. So having her back, I think, is like a huge boost. But again, she's not a surprise inclusion. Like, if she's fit, she's going.
Attacking wise, I'm really excited to see what England can do. You have Frank Kirby, Lesia Russo, Ella Toone, Lauren Hemp, all in one team. So that means at least we know we can hurt teams. I don't agree with Rachel Daly being one of the defenders. I think you have an incredible attacking talent. Why make them defend when you're going to make them defend against the best attackers in the world? It just doesn't sound like it's the safe option to do. And obviously she'll give 100%, but let's go to this tournament playing players where they should play. Let's not try and redo that.
If you want to look at it deeper, having Rachel Daly in that defender's position is taking it from someone else who actively plays there as well. So it just goes to what we're saying in terms of you're stunting someone's growth. Like May Letitia for Brighton, she's been playing wing back mostly this season because Brighton have been playing with a back five. Are you telling me she couldn't play in the same position that Rachel Daly's been playing? And Rachel Daly can play further up the field. So again, it's just a situation of having a good balance. Like, don't just have loads of players because of experience and stuff. Don't be afraid to throw in a few raw talents, like the men's are doing, for example. We've incorporated Saka and so forth when Gareth Southgate first came in and whatnot. And look how they're able to flourish. So I feel like we just need to take a bit more risks with the England team and see what happens.
I think it is a very hard job. Mainly because of where women's football is at the moment. It being a home Euros, it's not an easy job at all, and I don't think people would have been banging on the door for it. I think it's sort of, well, it could be a poison chalice, really. Wicked job sort of thing, but at the same time, you pick a team that's not amazing, it flopped to the Euros. Are you going to be there after the Euros? Like, I don't know. I don't think so. You look at Germany in 2006 at their World Cup, gambled a bit, and the manager was gone. Löw took over, who was the assistant. And it's like, football's just a tough game, man. It don't get easier. So it don't get less stressful. Like, I'm supposed to be looking forward to the Euros, and I find myself worrying with every squad announcement if it's not how I'm feeling, or if I see a few people point out stuff to me and I'm like, yeah, they're right. Like, I didn't think that, but they're right. And it's a tough old game.
It's pressure, so much pressure. When you think, and then even as fans, you get nervous because it's like, it's in our backyard. Like, we're probably going to go to almost every game, like the vibe, and a lot of eyes is going to be on this England team. So it's like, you want to put the best foot forward because the other teams are, and teams like Germany that have won it like 7 times. They're my biggest threats. But I'm also scared that Norway is in the exact same group as us. So you kind of feel like that dragon breathing down your neck.
I feel like people have almost ignored them as well.
They shouldn't.
Not ignoring them. That's the wrong word. But aren't acknowledging that they could be their problem.
I mean, classic example of women's football fans in England is they were undermining Barcelona in the Champions League last season.
They did.
So
they did.
They did. They undermined Barcelona twice because they undermined them in the semi-finals with Man City as well. So
I feel like a lot of people from like when we were watching Barcelona, because I was guilty of it, to be fair, but only because I just back City so hard. I can't not. But if you're not really massively watching Barcelona, you see him in the Champions League final a few years prior, and that's what's in your head. When you're not watching a team week in, week out, and you're not really, it's quite hard to tarnish like a loss like that. Like, I bet a lot of European football fans who aren't as much in the WSL probably think like Chelsea aren't really on crud. Like, Chelsea got swept aside.
Yeah,
and it is hard to consume all, like, as many leagues as some people do. Like, I'll 100% hold my hands up and say, like, yeah, fine, it is very hard, but yeah, it is the whole Barcelona factor and the Spain squad being made up of a number of Barcelona players. It should be worrying for a lot of people.
And you got to think, like, just where are the rest of the Barcelona players playing? That's the thing. Caroline Graham-Hansen, Barcelona, she's at Norway. if you've got a Barcelona descendant upon you, like we're gonna have to look at that.
You're gonna be all right.
Yeah,
you're gonna be okay.
I'm excited. I'm excited to just see what Republic of Ireland do. That'll be really cool because they've got no pressure. Because I heard
they can just enjoy themselves.
Yeah, so they can go into every single game saying we're here. That's it. I think teams that kind of have that we're here vibe, like they can be very annoying because teams just expect to like sweep past them, and then it's like, no, we're not just going to move over for you either. And then you could see them get a few sneaky wins as well.
AJ, I've just caught a glimpse of it in my own room. I just want to talk to you about yours.
Okay.
you're
I'm scared now. What have you seen?
What now? One to watch earlier in the year.
Oh, okay.
Last year. Well, how was you? How did you feel about that? What were your thoughts upon being nominated?
I wasn't expecting it, to be honest. I got the emails, as I'm sure you did, before they released the announcements and stuff, just randomly in the evening. I was like, that I've got the award, and I was like, I couldn't believe it. Like, obviously, it's always a privilege to be recognized for the work you do and stuff, but having someone like the Football Blacklist acknowledge you and the work you do and stuff. Like, me and James have been speaking about. Sorry, excuse me. Me and Jay have been speaking about Football Blacklist for a number of years before I even got nominated or anything, and it was on our list of things we wanted to be able to win and stuff. Obviously, James is coming next year, obviously, providing everything goes well. But yeah, it was just like a mad surprise, but obviously an honor at the same time as well. And I'm just happy to be in the mix with the likes of you, Liam, and everyone else that was nominated with us, who won the award. It was a
very strong class, wasn't it?
It was very strong. I don't know
if that's a super US thing to say, but
yeah, it's very like a draft.
It's very US, isn't it? Like a draft class. That's exactly my thought process when I said it.
Anyone could have been number one pick, you know. So
yeah,
any one of us could be number one pick. But
just happy to be lottery picks.
But yeah, but with winning the award, I don't know if you're the same, Liam. Like, it's just like now I've got the. It's almost like a. So as I said to Jay when I first won it, it's like a nice acknowledgement of where I am and what I've done. But like now I have to build on it, kind of thing. I can't just be like, oh, I've won this award and want to watch, and then let me just rest here, kind of thing.
Yeah.
To like, because obviously it's one to watch, not the final. You're the final project, kind of thing. So
yeah.
You've got to give people a reason to continue watching you. So it comes with the extra incentive to be motivated and push out more stuff as well.
I felt like it was, for me, I really like having something tangible for all your hard work was just like it was a bit of a relief, you know. It's just like, and especially like I feel like some other years when I haven't been nominated, I've been a bit like, oh, probably I feel like I could have been in that one sort of thing, or I felt like I should have. But then, yeah, like I was a bit like you two. It was something that was on my radar to be ticked off, and then I was like, oh, it got to the point. I was like, maybe it's meant for me. Maybe it's just not going to happen.
You know what? You know what's really funny? What you said, Liam, you thought you would win it sooner and stuff. Like last year, because of the documentary and stuff, I felt, oh, okay, I could be in the running to get it. And then when I didn't, I was disheartened. I wasn't expecting to be nominated or anything this year. This year, for me personally, I felt like I hadn't done as much as I should have. So it's like, oh, let me just go back to the lab and work on what I need to do and then push on next year. I was expecting James to show you the message. Like I've still got it screenshotted. I was like, you're definitely winning this year because the way Jay's kicked on and stuff like that, it's been amazing. So I was like, yeah, you've definitely got it, and so on and so forth. But next year, I expect to see Jay there 100%.
Yeah,
but I think it's just,
with you.
I think it's sick in general. I think it's almost like, it is kind of like a draft class kind of thing, because it's like anyone could get drafted. So it's like, you know, a lot of people that will be drafted. So it's like, you're all aware of how good everyone is. And then if some people don't get drafted, you're still cool. Like the journey doesn't stop. It's like a lot of players that get drafted, they're still friends with the people that didn't get drafted, and they have different journeys. But it's just sick to see your people win. Like, especially when you know how hard people work and you see them win, and like sometimes it's almost like you're more happier than for people when they win, because it's like you see that journey. And I think that's the sick thing about how everyone's collaborated since like lockdown and stuff like that. It's just you become everyone's super fan. Like you're aware of what everyone can do. I see it as like being a part of the USA team when it's Olympics. You get all these cold people around each other. Everyone's supportive of each other because everyone knows how sick each other is. And it's like, everyone's just happy to be there. Like there's no competition thing. It's just, we go out there and have fun. Like, and I think as creatives, we enjoy what we do. So when we put things out there, we have fun. And I think that's why I love things like the Football Blacklist, because like we can just celebrate what each other does.
Yeah, that's my whole thing. Like, especially with the Football Blacklist, like props to all them, man. Like it, the amount of like the live stream on YouTube, like there's always going to be idiots saying whatnot, and I found myself like saying the same thing, like why are you so angry at it? Like we're celebrating ourselves. Like and in my head I was like, would you be angry that I didn't invite you to my birthday party? You don't know me, you didn't know about this until you saw this. We were angry that I didn't invite you to my birthday party. Like it's okay. And it's like, well, we've not got our own one.
Yeah.
But you could create one. Like that's okay as well. Like if you want to celebrate your people, that's cool. Like,
but the worrying thing is not necessarily worrying, but like if they created their own one, it would be very similar to just their normal awards anyway.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be much different.
Yeah.
Which is why you have stuff like Football Blacklist, because we don't have an establishment or an award ceremony that evenly acknowledges the stuff that people of color actually do. So I don't know. I had to turn the comments off on the award show.
Yeah, my girlfriend was
I
like,
couldn't handle it.
The comments off.
I couldn't handle it at all.
But in its most basic form, like especially with it being lockdown and not being able to, or not lockdown now, but obviously with COVID, like getting out and going to events has been a bit harder. Like I've seen it as like a massive like networking opportunity. Even like last year when I wasn't nominated and I was still following it, and all these people who were and people who won awards, like, okay, you sort of, you follow all of them, and then it's like, then now they're part of your community. And it is just like, it's probably, I'd say probably one of my most successful networking like platforms to be able to, and especially like-minded people who look like us in the same field as us. And it's like, what, it's a no-brainer. Like, and it's like you saying, Jay, like you're celebrating everyone's wins, like regardless. And it's like, oh, like sick, you've won this, and you're looking back at their stuff and you're like, you know what, you are actually sick. Like now I'm going to watch you. And I think that as like Football Blacklist as and always has been super successful with that.
Yeah, 100%. I remember saying to Jay a couple of months ago, on my Twitter, I was going through it and stuff, and like each one of my friends was doing something different. So Anita was on Sky Sports, for example. Jay was doing his TikTok stuff. Nancy was doing stuff with Nike. Liam, you're doing BBC Football Focus and stuff like that. Like everyone's doing different things, and it's just like me and Liam have never met in person, but I'm still happy for him. And like you can do that with everyone on Twitter and stuff, like the whole community that's happened during this time. It's just like your wins feel like my wins, so to speak. Like I'm happy through you, kind of thing. It's really crazy to see, and long may it continue.
I always say it about Kyle Walker, another person who won an award. And people used to be like, because we started a journey similar sort of time, and people are like, oh, does it not annoy you that he's doing this or doing that and you're not getting the job? And I was like, no, like how I see it is the person who does it first is breaking down the door. I can just sneak in now. I ain't got to put all that effort in to smash the door down. Like the door's open. I can just skip through. And it's like, and I don't think people appreciate enough that if you're doing something, and it's like, especially like with TikTok, Jay, like when we talk about TikTok and it's like, okay, I've spoken to TikTok about XYZ, and you're like, oh, I'm doing this. I'm like, I can give you that information. And it's so much easier if now like I'm looking for something women's football related. I know you're across multiple leagues, so I can just ask you. And it's like, it's having supporting people and having people it's like a cheat code in life. Like honestly, it's like a cheat code in life. And like it costs nothing. Like to be nice to each other and support each other costs nothing. And it's fully a cheat code in life. I just
People
think
get annoyed
it's
by that phrase that it costs nothing, but it is true. Like this,
Mhm.
when someone does a video, like it takes nothing to retweet it, because you never know where it will go to. You never know who sees it. Like, I believe someone's always watching you. That's why, like, it's important. Like, if you're putting work out, put out your best work, because it's like someone's seen it, whether they're important, whether they're less important. Someone thinks this is sick. Someone could learn from it, or someone might just say, "You like this." Someone's done something about this, so, and you just never know where it will go. Like, that's why and it means a lot to people. Like, especially when you're on the come up, or when you might doubt yourself at times, just someone commenting something or someone saying this is really good. It's like, it can really help a creator. So yeah, that's the thing. Just support people. Simple as that.
Boiled it down. It is simple as that. I'm not going to lie to you. Transitioning again, AJ. Let's talk management. Let's talk that journey.
Where do I start? So really funny. When I was applying for universities and stuff, I wanted to be a lawyer first of all, and then talking to one of my friends at sixth form, he was like, "Oh, this uni does sports, blah 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 blah." So obviously, I've gone to UCFB now and done sports business and sports law. So what I wanted to do when I was in my first year at uni was to go into representation. Not so much so in terms of like contracts and stuff like that. It was more player welfare and public relations. And then obviously, as I stayed more at uni and stuff, met Jay, and then doing the podcast and stuff that we've done early days. That's the kind of transition I wanted to go towards. So then I've moved away from agency, and then through doing what I was doing with the media stuff, I then meet Drew Diamond, and I said to him, one of the first things I said to him when we first started talking was that he should run an agency. And then it just so happens that I end up back into that space anyway. So it's come full circle from going away from it, thinking I didn't want to do that anymore, to then going back straight into it. So we've only been doing it, what month is it now? February. It's not even been a year yet since we've actually formed as an agency, but we're going from strength to strength. We're hearing a lot of good feedback, both from players and clubs, directors, stuff like that. And that's all we're trying to do. We try not to put a face to the agency too much, because it's not about us, it's about the players. But obviously it's inevitable that eventually it's going to get out and stuff. But we're really happy with the progress we're making, and we just want to continue to build on it.
I read I bought a book, like, might have been beginning of lockdown. And it's like a breakdown of being a footballing agent, like a football agent. It's a super basic book, and like, it wasn't something I wanted to pursue. I just wanted to like know a bit more. Like, I'm friends with Toby, and he represents quite a few players, and I used to like speak to him, and it's just, I just find it like fascinating. Having working at a club, I've only sort of deal with the players, and then it's like, so I was like fascinated in everything they do, and like, and then I've got friends now who wouldn't say representation, but like deal with their media side of things. And yeah, I find it a really fascinating journey. And for you to say like early on, oh, this is what I want to do, and to then make like know the steps almost, I find that quite breathtaking. Because if you said to me like, what, 3 years ago, if I went, oh, I want to do this, I wouldn't have an absolute clue like what the next step was.
I mean,
so yeah, it's admirable.
Thank you for that. I feel like, though, like I don't want to paint a picture that like I've done this all perfectly and it's all worked out. Because obviously with a lot of things in life, that's not always the case. But there's been lessons and stuff, and me and Drew are both still learning every day. Drew will tell you that himself. Like, there's still a lot of people we rely on in terms of advice and stuff, but that's with anything. But we have taken it in our stride massively. Like, we have gone on leaps and bounds when we first started. It was a bit touch and go at the start because we wasn't sure. I think what we was a bit aware of, we didn't want to step on anyone's toes because obviously we're coming into a new field and there's some people who are established already. We didn't want to try and like step on anyone's toes, offend anyone. Not that we was doing anything bad. It's just that when you're into a new field that you don't really know a lot on, you don't want to upset people by just being there. You know what I mean? So, but
you just got to navigate the space a bit differently.
We just got to make sure, and because what me and Drew are trying to create is just beyond I can't even get the words out now. Just beyond representing players and stuff, we want to create a culture where, for example, a big thing to me, and I know Jay has mentioned it as well, is creating pathways for young Black players to get into professional clubs or even semi-professional clubs, because there's a really big gap in women's football where that's allowed to progress. So me and Drew have both had multiple conversations about making sure, as a representation, we do our bit to try and help that and push that forward as well. So it's not just a situation, because agents can get bad rap all the time, more so in men's football, not so much in women's football, but we have a duty of care to our players, but also the young players as well who are coming up, because it's not just AJ and Drew, it's our management team as well. What can we do for the community? And I feel like some people can forget that. Just look at, okay, who's the best player at the best club? Let's try and represent them and get them sponsorships. But there's a lot more to it as well. Obviously, these players are human at the end of the day as well. So you've got to take that into consideration. And the 4 players we have now, all great girls, all doing their own things respectively for their community and stuff, like Amber with her mental health stuff and stuff like that. Jade's doing fantastic in the WSL. So it's just all about building those kind of things and not just representing someone because they're the best player available, but because they share the same mantra as myself and Drew at the same time.
Yeah, it's the alignment of like your core values. I guess that's like really, really important for you to be able to like articulate what yours are. So hearing that it's very refreshing, man. Like, and I commend the work you do, definitely.
Thank you. I mean, we still got a lot of work to do. Like, you'll see some more stuff coming out from us shortly, fingers crossed. We're really happy with the kind of waves we've been able to make so quickly as well. Because as I was touching on with like stepping on people's toes, you can be put in situations where people try to gatekeep and try to block opportunities and stuff like that. But we've been able to definitely kick on a lot faster than we would have hoped to. So it's just to keep building on that and see where it takes us.
That was going to be my next question. I was going to ask, what can we see? What can we expect from you? What's coming up? I mean, I don't know. I don't want you to release anything you can't release. But, what can the people watch out for?
Hopefully, I don't say nothing that Drew messages me later.
If there's anything, Jay will take it out. This is the beauty of it. Text him, get him. I need to see the final edit before it goes.
Okay, I think the best thing for me to say is just expect more players to join us because they believe in what we're doing. And to be honest, if I'm being completely honest, being just AJ for a second, like, I'm surprised the level of players that are contacting us so soon. It's not that we're not doing a good job or anything. It's just we're hearing stuff about us from different people that we would never expect to hear from so soon. So that's credit to Drew. I can't lie. Obviously, James will tell you my toxic trait is that I like to be behind the scenes. I don't like to put my face on anything. So Sterling's not even in any of my bios because I just like to keep it. I just like to keep it there and let it handle itself. But Drew's definitely the front runner between the two of us in terms of just like getting our names out there and putting a face to our brand and stuff. And then players can just really gravitate towards it, and we kick on from there. But yeah, just keep a lookout for us because we've got some high momentum right now, and it's not slowing down. Which is really fortunate for us both. So yeah, that's what I can say right now.
AJ, thank you very much for coming on, man. Jay, as always, good to have you, bro. And people watching at home, thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Peace.